Yamuna Tiro Banachari Yamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiro Banachari Yamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, please accept my humble obeisance. So glorious to great Deva, glorious to Jagat Krishna Prabhupada.
Double service.
Hare Krishna. So thank you for being here. Shri Kavikarnapura Prabhu. We're going to put the rest on the screen and you may start speaking. Definitely devotees will be joining soon. We have devotees here, but many will come later.
No problem, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you.
Anant Miranda Shalakaya Ena Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Vandeyam Padakama Vaishnavam Sta Shri Sagana Raghunat Sadvaitam Sabadutam Krishna Chaitanya De Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Aya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Kavi Chandra Swami Namaste Prabhupada Charini Granta Vitarana Pitivya Shisha Gaine Sada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarini Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gurutishe Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Anebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I want to use the opportunity to welcome all the devotees to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. You're welcome. I'm going to take in from yesterday and today together because Guru Maharaj, was not here yesterday. So I will read the translation of yesterday. Then I'm going to read the Sanskrit of today, but I will read from the verse of yesterday so that we can get the connection of the verses. So it's a very wonderful technical verse, which is very sweet. It's the part of Srimad Bhagavatam that I enjoy reading because it's very scientific. Yeah, so it's very nice. So we're going to start from text 29. I will come back to read the translation of that one later, probably. We are going to start from today's verse where I'm supposed to read. Then I will go back to read the verse when I'm reading the verses. Nabasota vi Abu Sparshaguno Nilaha Parabaya Chabdavanscha Pranahu Jasao Balam Vayorapi Vikuvanat Kalam Karma Swabhavataha Tejo Vai Rupavas Parsha Sabdavat Vikurvana Rasat Makam Rupavas Pashas Vachambo Gosha Vacha Pranavayat Ananayat Vanad Avaso Ganda Vahavu Prana Param Vayarasa Spasha Shabda Rupam Guna Vitaham. Word to word translation. Nabasaha of the sky. Ata thus. Vikruvanat being transformed. Abud generated. Spasha touch. Guna quality. Alila air. Para previous. Amvayat by succession. Shab davan full of sound. Cha also. Pranaha life. Uja sense perception. Saha fat. Balam strength. Vayur of the hair. Api also. Vikuvanat by transformation. Kala time. Karma reaction of the past. Swabhavata on the basis of nature. Udapadhyata generated. Teja fire. Vai duly. Rupavat with form. Sparsha touch. Sabdavat with sound also. Tejasa of the fire. To but Vikuvanat on being transformed. I said it so happened. Ambaha water. Rasat maka composed of juice. Rupavat with form. Sparshavat with touch. Cha and. Ambaha water. Gosavat with sound. Cha and. Para previous. Amvaya by succession. Visheshaha variegatedness. To birth. Vikuvana by transformation. Ambasaha of water. Gandavan odorous. Abud became para previous. Anvayat by succession, Rasa juice, Spasha touch, Shabda sound, Rupaguna Avita qualitative. So translation, let me read from the previous one. Translation, from the darkness of Fosego, the first of the 5 elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form is the quality of sound. Exactly as the seer is in relationship with the seen. From the darkness of Fosego, the first of the 5 elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form in the quality of sound, exactly as the seer in relationship with the seen. Continuation of the translation in the next verse. Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with the quality of touch. And by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principle of duration of life. Sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, there is manifestation of water, full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has form and touch, and it's also full of sound. And water being transformed from all variegatedness of earth appear odorous, and as previously becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form, respectively. Very nice. Purport. This is very, very scientific process of creation. How everything came from the other. Very, very wonderful. Can only get this from Srimad Bhagavatam. This detail. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The whole process of creation is an act of gradual evolution and development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of earth, as so many trees, plants, mountains, rivers, reptile, bird, animal, and varieties of human beings. The quality of sense perception is also evolutionary, namely generated from the sound, then touch, and from touch to form, taste, and odor are also generated along with the gradual development of sky, air, fire, air, water, and earth. They are all mutually the cause and effect of one another. But the original cause is the Lord himself in plenary portion, as Mahavishnu lying in the causal ocean, water of the Mahatattva. As such, Lord Krishna is described in Brahma Samhita as the cause of all causes. And this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10:8 as follows. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matas sarvam prabhatate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samavitaha. The qualities of sense perception are fully represented in the earth, and they are manifested in other elements to a lesser extent. In the sky, there is sound only, whereas in the air, there are sound and touch. In the fire, there are sound, touch, and shape. And in the water, there is taste also, along with other perceptions, namely sound, touch, and shape. In the earth, however, there are all the above-mentioned qualities, with an extra development of odor also. Therefore, on the earth, there is a full display of variegatedness of life, which is originally started with the basic principle of air. Diseases of the body take place due to the derangement of air within the earthly body of the living beings. Mental diseases result from special derangement of the air within the body. As such, yogi exercise is especially beneficial to keep the air in order that this disease of the body become almost nil by such exercises. When they are properly done, the duration of life also increases, and one can have control over death also by such practices. A perfect yogi can have command over death and kill the body at the right moment. When he's competent to transfer himself to a suitable planet, the Bhakti yogi, however, surpasses all the yogis because by dint of his devotional service is promoted to the region beyond the material sky and is placed in one of the planets in spiritual sky by the supreme will of the Lord, the controller of everything. Hare Krishna. So, supposed to say the prayer. Sorry. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devi saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudiraye nashta prayesha padrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhakti naishtike. So I want to take this opportunity to take permission from all the great Vaishnava who had gathered here for Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to take blessing of our seniors and also other devotees here so that we can say something for our own purification and for the benefit of others. So this chapter is called the Cause of All Causes. It's a very nice chapter. Well, if we study the beginning of the chapter, from text 1 to 8, Narada Muni inquired from Lord Brahma about the material creation, material world, and everything that be. Then from 9 to 17, Lord Brahma described the greatness of the Supreme Lord himself. Then from 18 to 33, which the number I'm supposed to take today is in between, Lord Brahma described the creation. Then from 34 to 42, the Lord entered each universe. Then that leads to the next chapter, Purusha Shukta. Very, very wonderful. So if you see from the 25, text 25, it describes the beginning of the elements from the darkness of first ego. So if we are to talk about creation of this material universe, we have to start from Pradhan, because this is enough, like vividly described in in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam during the conversation of Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. So Pradhan, when the Lord desired to create this material universe, then in one corner of this, because the whole creation itself is the lost kingdom. So in one corner of this spiritual world, it casts a cloud. That's why this material world is considered to be like a prison. It casts a cloud. Under that cloud, in that cloud, which is this material world, we have what we call Pradhan. And this Pradhan is considered to be all the ingredients of creation. But at this time, everything was inert. It's just like you have in your kitchen all the ingredients to cook. Banku, the vegetable, curd, eba, rice, beans, everything is there. And no, the cook has not yet entered. Everything just lying there. So this is how Pradhan is considered to be. All the ingredients of creation, they are all present. Then the Lord entered into the material universe, lying down on the causal ocean. It's called the causal ocean because all the ingredient of creation is there. Whatever is needed to, be provided to create this material world is all there in that cloud, the causal ocean. Everywhere is called Pradhan. Then when the Lord entered, then he glances at Pradhan. And that glance of the Lord is considered to be Kala, Jiva, and Karma. All of them impregnated into Pradhan, which is the ingredient. Now, activity began. So without the influence of time, there cannot be action or activity and karma. So the glance of the Lord in form of time, with the living entity and karma, they were all impregnated into Pradhan. And now Pradhan transformed into what we call Mahatattva. And from this Mahatattva, all this creation started. Everything started from this Mahatattva. And that is why immediately after that Mahatattva, we have the first ego. We have the three modes of material nature. Now, because of the glance of the Lord, everything starts reacting with each other and producing the different elements of creation, the senses, object of the senses. So in the 25, we are hearing about from the darkness of first ego, the first of the four element, namely sky, is generated. From darkness of first ego. So this material universe is dark. It's a dark place. Everywhere is dark. So when there's reaction with the three modes, which are all part of the ingredients, all these things we're talking now, they are very subtle. They're subtle ingredients present in the causal ocean. The first ego, the three modes of material nature, everything is subtle and present there. So when there is a reaction of the first ego from the darkness of first ego, the first element came, that is the sky. And what is produced from the sky, which is like the characteristic of the sky, is called sound. And that is why sound is very, very powerful, because only sound can penetrate all these other elements that are going to be produced after sound or after the air or ether. Very powerful. Then after that, today's verse is telling us that from the sky, that is, because the sky is transforming to air, is generated with the quality of touch. Without air, we cannot feel touch. The air is what is making us to feel the sense of touch. See how everything is scientific. Very scientific. So the air is what is making us to feel the sense of touch. And that is why all these ingredients that is mentioned, they are like, when we want to compare it, they are like software. The skin is like the hardware. Because we are going to hear also how first ego react with the mode of passion, and we have the working senses produced in the later verses. So then here also it is mentioned, then when there is transformation by the previous succession, The air also full of sound and the principle and basic principle of duration of life, the sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. This is what we get from the production of air. And that's why we say in the Papa describe how one can elongate his lifespan or reduce it, depending on how, what you do with your life. Then it continues. It says, when the air is transformed in course of time, nature cause, fire is generator, taking shape. So fire is what gives shape to the body or to the creation. Without fire, no shape. And that is why you see immediately fire out of the body becomes, stone cold. Then it starts melting. And like this, all these elements are produced until we get earth, which have all the characteristics of the previous elements. Sound, taste, form, and touch, and fragrance. So, the first ego itself, when we are talking about first ego, we talk about it also regarding to ourselves. The soft ego itself is the universal first ego. When we're talking about the first ego here, we're talking about the universal first ego. It's an element, it's a subtle ingredient of creation, subtle, very subtle. And that subtle source ego is one covering the whole universe. And that is why everywhere is dark. And that is why, unless we are self-realized, we also cannot see very clearly because of the influence of false ego. Give us the perfection reflection of the material world with the influence of the modes of material nature. When we talk about these three modes of material nature also, is part of the ingredient of material nature is very subtle thing that is influencing the creation, including time. And that is why in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 7, verse 13, Krishna nicely explained here. Tribir guna mayi bhavai. Tribir guna mayir bhavai. Ebihi. Sarvamidam jagat. Very nice verse. Tribir guna mayir bhavai ebir. All this, ebihi, all these tribi, these three guna, these three gunai, they are my energies. Sarvam idam jagat. These three guna in this material universe, controlling everything, Moita Nabijanati, because of the covering of these three modes, and first they go, Moita Nabijanati, Krishna is saying, Moitam. Moita means deluded. Is my deluded energy. Moita, Moini Murti. We know the passage of Moini Murti with the shining of ocean. Moitam, my deluded energy. And because of this influence of the three modes of material nature, we cannot understand the supreme being. Ma me biyam parama vyayam. That Krishna is beyond these three modes. So because whatever we are dealing with in this creation of Krishna is influenced by these three modes of material nature, the first ego, and all the other ingredients of creation, we cannot understand something that is beyond. We cannot. We are conditioned. We cannot see beyond that. Because when we go to the next verse, Krishna say, he mentioned there, Krishna mentioned very nicely there. Yes. Devi Yesha Guna Mai Bavai. Mama Maya Durateya. Mame Baye Papa Diante Maya Metam Tarantite. This energy that Krishna is talking, that we are hearing in the creation, they are Krishna divine energy. Krishna is saying here. And why should Parishim Maharaj sitting down, hearing all this? When we know that he's going to die within 7 days. Why? It's very, very important when we understand the material energy of the Lord. Very, very important. Krishna, in the Shri Upanishad, it is mentioned in Mantra 11. He said, one has to study the knowledge of nations side by side with the transcendental knowledge. Very, very important. That is only when we can understand and appreciate the greatness of the person we are trying to surrender to. Krishna said, unless you surrender unto me, you cannot transcend this energy. So what is this energy? How great is this energy of Krishna that he said that we cannot come by ourselves? And that is why these great sages, Sukade Goswami is taking time to talk about creation. When somebody's on, you can just easily say that, oh, he's supposed to just hear about Krishna. No, he's talking about the divine energy, how Krishna is great, how great Krishna is. When you say somebody is great, you have to tell us how great he is. See how very scientific this creation is taking place. On our own, we cannot transcend this material nature. On our own, we cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead. And that is why before we start this lecture, we say, Oma Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Shakshu Miritan Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha. Oma Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. We are born into this dark ignorance of this material. This world is dark. If there is no sun, everywhere will be dark. If there is no moon, everywhere will be dark. If you don't switch on our lights in the night, everywhere will be dark. So this world is naturally dark. And that is why he said, from darkness of false ego, the sky is produced. Everywhere is dark. And that is why we see, when we hear the pastime of Krishna and Arjuna traveling to the abode of Mahavishnu, when they got to that matter, everywhere was very dark. Everywhere is very dark. So this material world, material universe is dark. On our own, we cannot understand. And that is why you see the scientists, they are trying to analyze everything. They want to know everything. How this one is transformed into this, how that one is transformed into this. And understand this principle is making them to be able to manipulate the energies of Krishna. Because there are principles behind these energies. And once you understand these principles, you can be able to manipulate the energies. And that is why they are studying they are working very hard to study all these energies of Krishna. Just imagine. Somebody take all his life just to study one aspect of energy of Krishna, and is given a prof. Just because he studied one small aspect of this energy of Krishna. Whether he has to be related to finance, or he has to be related to management, or is connected to medical science, or is connected to, whatever. Every small aspect of this knowledge of material energy, somebody studied it for his own life, is given a prof. I want to talk about the person who have created it. Try to understand the source of this knowledge that is coming from Krishna himself. People are getting credits for what Krishna has, seamlessly has, put in place, working automatically. This is the greatness of Krishna. And that is why we are studying this aspect of Krishna, about the creation, to understand who we are serving. Because the more you understand the person you are serving, the more you develop faith in that person, the more you develop love for that person. And unless we understand Krishna, we cannot get out of this material world. When I was thinking about this particular aspect, and this particular movie came to my mind, Escape Plan. There's a movie, they have 1 and 2, but the number 2 described very, very closely how we cannot escape on our own unless we get transcendental, assistance from outside. And that is why Krishna has sent all his representatives, sent the scriptures as part of our escape plan of this material world. On our own, we cannot get out. And in that movie, you see, they were inside cell, confined cell, but they never knew that the cell is on top of a vast ocean, ship, and the ship is in the middle of the ocean. So there's no how you can escape. Even though when you try to break all the barrier to escape, when you jump out of the ship, you're going to enter into the big ocean. How much can you swim? Unless you get a help from outside. Helicopter came, and when you try to escape, the helicopter pick you and take you to where you want to be. That is all the arrangement Krishna is making for us, by giving up the scripture, by sending the great devotees to us. Because on our own, this Durga dam, we cannot escape. There's no how. Now people are going to the moon. They are trying all their best, manipulating all the energy of Krishna, studying the subtle science, because there are gross and subtle science also. So the subtle science is very subtle. If not, how is it that I'm speaking here, you are hearing me? It's passing through a subtle science. It's very subtle. But there's a principle behind it, which some people have been able to, to discover and apply it. And that principle is applying everywhere, and they're getting the same result. And that is why you see somebody will be, like the other day, the one devotee was explaining, he said, when we talk about taste, it's not the tongue and the tongue's bug we're talking about. The taste itself, even the tongue must be there, but if you look, if the software which is making you to feel the taste is not there, you will not feel any taste. The same thing with the body. When the body becomes paralyzed, the body must be there, the skin may be there, you will not feel touch. So there are some subtle, you may call it body of this creation. All these elements that is mentioned about the creation, they are connected to the smaller elements in our body. And based on that, this thing is working miraculously. Just like now, you can have this your phone, you can have this your phone. And if you don't activate some app on your phone, it cannot work. And that app is not in the phone. The app is in somewhere where a scientist is managing the app. Then when you activate that app, it's connected. And you can, the software can always be updated. They're always updating it because, they are bringing new versions. So the same thing also, that is how the same the science of this material body we have. They're talking about this ingredient of creation. Everything is connected to our body. And that is why when you read the pastimes of King Prithu Maharaj, it was mentioned how when he was leaving his body, is the mind, his own mind merged with the universal mind, his senses merged with the universal. So all those elements will merge to the subtotal of all the other senses, or all the other elements in the universe. So these things, they are very, very scientific. And that is why Krishna consciousness is called a science. And that is why we are studying this science, so that we can understand that this material energy is under the three modes of material energy, the gunas. And Krishna say AB sarvami bat AB tribi gunai mayi bavai AB sarvami dam jagat. No one can be able to understand me because why? I'm beyond these modes of material energy. And that is why Mame Vam Ye Papa Diante, Maya Metam Tarant, we have to surrender to Krishna for us to be able to understand. Very, very important. Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabaven Graya Midria. Sebo Muke Jivado Swaya Mebas Paratiada. Atashi Krishna Namadi. Everything that is connected to Krishna, Nama, his names, Rupa, Guna. We cannot understand them with this our blood senses. All these are our indriyas. The senses, the mind, the intelligence, they are product of most of material nature. They are product of the most of nature. You cannot understand Krishna because Krishna is beyond. Krishna is beyond the three modes, the gunas. Atashi Krishna Namadi. We cannot understand him. Sevo Muke Jiwado. But by rendering service to Krishna, Seva. Sevo Muke Ijiva, by our tongue, start from the tongue. And that is why in the beginning I stated that the sound element is very, very powerful in creation. Because only sound can penetrate through all the other elements. Is the beginning of the subtle is the most subtle of all the other elements. From Itai, the sound came. So after that, sound have power, all other element that is being produced. Air, fire, water, and the earth. And now when we're talking about sound, Krishna Nam is transcendental sound, the one that is directly from the spiritual world. So you have more influence on this, more influence on the material. And that is why the Maha Mantra is the only sound vibration that can purify this our existence and spiritualize it and connect also the spiritual world. So I am a verse. So when we become purified, then Krishna reveals himself to us because it's beyond these three modes of material nature. So that is why Sukadev Goswami is taking his time to talk about all this detailed knowledge so that at the end he can tell Parishit Maharaj how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is great and we can only attain him by engaging in devotional service, chanting and hearing. Just like Prabhupada rightly said in the purport. Only by engaging in devotional service can we transcend this material world. That is the only escape plan. There is no any other escape plan that can take us out of this material world on our own. So as a devotee, we have to be conscious of this. That is why we are studying this, because knowledge or information is very, very important. When you acquire knowledge, the next level is for you to understand. When you don't understand, you cannot go to the next level, which is application or wisdom. And that is why many of us cannot properly apply this knowledge of Krishna consciousness because we can't understand some of them. We cannot relate with them. Because unless you understand something, you cannot realize it or properly apply it. So that is why we are hearing this aspect of where Lord Brahma is, where the Lord Brahma described the creation, how everything is created. Because it's for us to be able to understand the greatness of Krishna more and more. You must understand, when you understand the greatness of Krishna, there is no how you will not surrender to him. You are not surrendering because you have not understood. It's very simple. We can pretend, we can talk big grammar. Unless you understand, you cannot surrender. And that is only what is preventing us from surrendering. Because we have not understood. We may cover it with big grammar, we may ask, we may talk so many big question and this. And that is why Parishima keep on asking questions. Because the more you understand his greatness, the more you surrender more and more. And that is why we are asked to hear more and more every day. So that we can purify this, all this influence of the mode. Nasha prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhakti bhavati naishike. Nasha prayeshu abadreshu. Only this hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam that can purify us. Then we become established on the path of pure bhakti. And unless we come to that pure bhakti, on that platform, we cannot understand. We cannot transcend the modes. Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayodita. Yanaya tu aswe baragam. Gana chad hai atukam. Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Prayodita. What is the symptom of one who have realized Krishna, who have understand this part of Krishna consciousness? Natural knowledge be developed and detachment from the worldly activities, from material activities. We develop naturally. So we may speak big grammar, we may try to corner in so many ways, but these are the principles given in this Srimad Bhagavatam of one who have understand the part of Krishna consciousness. And that is why it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text number 8. Krishna nicely explained to Arjuna there, if you understand me, you will surrender. There is no how. How can you understand my greatness and you will not surrender? It's not possible. 10:8, what did Krishna say there? Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya, sorry, before that one, 10:7. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yoveti tatu ataha sobika pena yogenya yujati natrasamsaya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. That is why we are hearing about this greatness and opulence and mystic power of Krishna, about the creation. If not, why? Why should we hear about creation? We just want to hear about Krishna, observing Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But the Parishit Maharaj has to start and hear about the creation, about the material universes, about the different planetary systems. Because that the more you hear, the more you become convinced about the greatness of Krishna. And Krishna says, yeah, one who is factually convinced. So if we are not engaging in pure unalloyed devotion to the Lord, we are not surrendering everything of our life to the Lord, it means that we are not understood Krishna consciousness. There is no gainsaying, no. If we are not, if the thing is not making, you are not feeling that, just like when a young boy starts falling in love with a young girl, you will just see the move all over his body. He will be playing all kind of tricks at home just to go and meet the young girl. The thing will be moving in the body. So if your body is not moved with the emotion of bhakti, to surrender to Krishna, to hear about Krishna, to do everything for Krishna, to connect everything of your activity to Krishna, you have not understood what is Krishna consciousness. It's very simple. It's a practical knowledge. And that's why Krishna is saying, only one who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. Krishna is speaking. Of this, there is no doubt. So it means that if you are not surrendering to Krishna, it means you're not convinced about all this greatness we are hearing about him. How the material creation started and everything is just to describe the greatness of the person we're trying to understand. And that is why you see, after Parishad Maharaj had all this, he surrendered completely to Krishna. That is the result of pure devotional service. So I will stop here. I will leave time for question and answer. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, His Grace Kavikarnapura Prabhu. Dear devotees, if anyone has questions, comments, realizations, please, you may indicate by using the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to speak or to ask your question. Hare Krishna. But Prabhuji, like I said, thank you for the question. This subject matter is quite difficult for me, particularly, to grasp. So it's very beautiful the way you dealt with it. But my question is about this ingredients coming together to manifest things. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about this creation is as a result of gradual evolution.
Yeah.
It's a gradual evolution, and then things develop from one element to another. So my question is, do we as living entities, as jivas, were we also developed from some sort of gradual element? I don't know, because according to Srila Prabhupada's paper, let me see, it says...
the beginning of the purport, yes.
Yeah, in the beginning of the paper, talks about how things manifested. And then at some point, the human beings appeared on the Earth planet. So if you may throw some light on this, please.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. As we go on, we're going to hear more and more about this. And there's one analogy give, very nice analogy. Just like in the where they make automobile, the factory where they make automobile, you assemble all the ingredients, then you put it to different shapes. Then somebody come there according to his money, come and purchase. Some people go for Ferrari, some people go for Toyota, some people go for Honda, according to your, some people go for Caterpillar, for big heavy duty. So according to your money, you go and you purchase a particular a car. So Prabhupada also is trying to explain that, yes, like if you hear me very clearly in the beginning, I mentioned that everything was dormant and all the ingredients were there. Then the Lord glances and there was action. Along with the glance was the living entity impregnated into Pradhan. So that is it. So the living entity are coming from the Supreme Lord and they are impregnated into the material nature. So when the creation of Lord Brahma will begin, that is when we start talking about the secondary creation of plant, animals, and human beings. So from, like Krishna mentioned, Mama so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasa stani indriya and prakriti stani. So we are all from Krishna, that glance. Then according to our previous karma, swabhav, we take a particular body. Now, I don't want to answer the question about where we were before. That one is a very controversial question. But we are coming from that particular Supreme Lord who glances at Pradhan. That is how it is being explained here. I don't want to go into about the spiritual world and all those, but we can here understand clearly that it's that glance of the Lord that impregnates material nature with the living entity. Means that the law impregnates the part, we are part and parcel of the law, impregnates the material nature with living entity. So we are coming from the Supreme Lord in that sense. And the living entity, according to their desire, according to their desire, karma, they take a particular body that has been created by this material nature, the Mahatattva, starting from first ego down to the creation of other elements. So, in summary, the living entity is coming from the Supreme Lord. The material nature is what is evolving according to the explanation we are getting from Lord Brahma here. Is the material energy that is evolving at that in this beginning of creation. We have the sky. From the sky, we have the air, we have the sound, the air, we have a air, we have a fire, we have water. So they tell us how everything comes from the other one. And that is why we have the characteristic of all these elements as they emerge from the other one. So the other one that is emerging from the previous one, we have the characteristic and its own characteristics of the previous energy. And that is why Earth have all the other characteristics of all other elements. Sound and can go through the earth, and we have water is in the earth, and we have fire can be inside the earth, and we have touch. All these taste, they are all in the characteristics of earth. So, but the living entity is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take body. When we talk about the evolution now, they take body according to their previous performed work, like mentioned in Brahma Samhita. So we take body according to our karma. I don't know, maybe I'm able to answer your question, or you have to ask, you want to add more thing, probably?
No, I asked. I don't add. But
you understand. Surely you understand something about what you are asking.
Thank you for the answer. I really appreciate it. But I have a question from the same viewpoint, the creation. And because you also mentioned this Pradhan. I've been wondering how Lord Brahma is considered as the secondary creator. Yeah. It's bewildering to me because I'm a materialistic being living in this material world, and this is the language I understand. Because if you have a house and let's say we have a stadium, a football stadium, which is a very huge football stadium. We've never heard anybody say that the manufacture of the stadium tools used in building the industry are the primary creators or builders of the factory. It is the company that built the factory that is referred to as the builder of the factory. But here, simply because the Lord supplies the ingredients, he is referred to as the creator. Yes. How does that actually work in our mundane world when somebody supplies ingredients for somebody to cook? You go to the market, you buy ingredients, you come to cook, and you say you are the secondary cook. The primary cook is the one who sold the ingredients to you.
all the analogy you are using, you are just answering my question. You are making the question, and it's simple for me.
Okay, please, then go ahead and answer for me and make it simple for me.
Yes, I will. Because just for example, if the ingredient for the cooking is not there, how are you going to cook? How can you cook when the ingredient is not there? So the person who provides the ingredient is just like now, you are the head of your house. If you don't provide the ingredients in the house for cooking, what will the mother do? Mother, you cannot do anything. But she is very expert in mixing those ingredients together. That is her work. She's very expert in that. And when she churn that, somebody may give her the glories that, oh, Mother, oh, wow, you have done a very nice cook. Okay, it's okay. But the person behind that, using that intelligence, is the man who provided the ingredients of cook for the cook. And that is why the Lord, we the devotee, we appreciate the Lord. That's like now, so many materialistic people, they appreciate the scientists. Oh, wow, see the plane, now you can move from here to there. Oh, it's just like the same thing you are asking. Oh, they have done so many wonderful things. Even in the medical science, you know, you get my point. They have done so many wonderful things. But who is the one giving the ingredient in which they are breeding all these wonderful things? Without that ingredient, how can they do it? Oh, see, that is the origin of everything, Krishna. And that is why devotees, they are more eager to give glories to Krishna, who is the supplier of all the ingredients for the secondary of the transformation of the material world. And it's just like this. The scientists will always tell you, I remember when we were doing chemistry in our secondary school, they will always tell us that H2O is water. I've not seen any scientists in this, at least now I've grown up to some age, I've not seen the scientists mixing H2O to produce water that would be enough for us. I've not seen. But they know that, okay, this is the ingredient of the water. So this to buttress that the glory should be given to the original provider of the thing that we are using. Just because we can analyze how the thing is can be used, or how we can manipulate it and use it to give another creation, doesn't mean that we are the one who gave the ingredient. And that's why we always challenge that we should glorify the person who are giving the intelligence in which you are manipulating this nature or material world. That is Krishna. So that is why Krishna is considered to be the primary creator. Even Lord Brahma himself glorified Krishna, because he knows that without Krishna, without Krishna, he is the personification of intelligence. When we talk about intelligence or whatever creation or whatever you want to talk about intelligence, the highest intelligence is Lord Brahma. And that is why he's considered to be the creator of material universe, because Krishna gave him that intelligence to be able to put things together. Krishna gave the ingredients, he put them in where they're supposed to be. Okay, the heavenly planet will be here, the earth planet will be here, the lower planetary system will be here. This is the kind of living entity that will reside there. So he put things into place. He organizes everything. Just like, for example, if you go to the Western world, you see how people organize things there. You go to a place, come to Africa, you see the opposite also. So you can see the level of intelligence in terms of putting things in place, which Lord Brahma personified the highest of them all. So that is it. That's why it's considered to be the secondary creation, because without those ingredients that we are talking about today, there will not be creation in the first place.
Well, thank you. But that is not how we speak in our day-to-day lives anyway. I accept your explanation. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Baba.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else with any question, comment? Very well.
Zoom user. Zoom user, who are you? Show your face. TechnoSpark 8P.
Is that what's the name? Chaitanya Prema?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hey, Bhakta Jacob, you are hiding your face. I caught you.
How's it going? What a wonderful lecture. Thank you so much.
Yes, how are you?
Fine, but I had a question and I wanted to say this
Please ask
person
your
about.
question.
Yeah, please
But
go ahead.
you've given me the moral to speak up now.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my question was, in Bhakti, they say that Bhaktas don't usually picture like approach Krishna in awe and reverence. We approach Krishna more of a personal approach in love and affection. So please help me and harmonize this.
Okay,
Yeah.
Krishna, we don't approach him with all our reverence. We approach him in spontaneous love.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, because of the level of Krishna and interaction with his devotees.
Okay.
So, but that is very high realization, which unless we understand, we approach him with awe and reverence, we cannot reach there.
Okay.
Because in every process or in every way, there's always a process to get to the destination. For example, in the Bible, they say that those blessed are the, how did they put that in? That the fear, okay, I remember. They say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And we have seen many times that people are not, if you don't, that is the beginning. You have to be afraid of sin. When they say fear of God, doesn't really mean that they are afraid of God like that. But you have to be afraid of sin. You know that many people, they commit sin and they don't have the guilt conscience is not there. Then how can you move to the next level? And that is why they say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Means that you have to know that the supreme personality, the person you want to go and meet, is not just ordinary person. Let's say, for example, now let me give a very good quick example that you can relate with. You want to meet Tinubu now, and you don't have any connection to meet him. You don't have anything to connect with him. Let's say for somehow or the other, somebody can, okay, let me go and introduce you to Tinubu. The first time you entered in front of Tinubu, are you just going to stand like this? Who are you? You're supposed to be friend. No. The first time you will meet him, you'll be in our reference. Oh, Mr. President. Oh, wow. Wow, I can come close to him. Wow. Then the more the relationship continue, you start meeting him every day, and he start tapping you on the back. Then you start building that, reciprocation that you should relate with him on equal level, isn't it? So the Lord has to reciprocate first before you can come to that level of say, okay, I want to relate with him on a spontaneous level. If you have not gotten the reciprocation, how will you relate? How can you relate with him on that platform? And that is why we have to be engaging in devotional service. In the beginning is awe and reverence. When we continue to engage in awe and the beginning of our devotional service, there's a level we reach. The Lord will reciprocate. That is why it is mentioned in the scripture that this process of devotional service is divided into three. Sambandha Gyan. Then we have Abideya and Prayojana, which is the topmost, the goal of life. So Sambandha Gyan is the beginning. We have to have knowledge about the supreme personality of Godhead, about who we are, what is this material nature is all about, the different kinds of living entity. Once we are aware about this knowledge, then it's easier for us to go to the second platform, which is Abideya, engaging in devotional service very seriously, following the regulative principles. It's only when we do this for many years, and one day the Lord is pleased with you, and he say, hey, hi, how are you, Dr. Jacob? I can see you. I know you are there. And then you say, oh, my Lord, so you are seeing me? Yes, I see you. That day, remember, you didn't eat throughout the whole night. You were just chanting my name. I remember I saw you. Come here. He tap you, relate with you. You feel, oh my God. Then as the Lord comes to you again and again, you don't know when the spontaneous relationship will start. That is why we hear this pastime of Bibaman Galatakur. The Lord will come to him, take him around, because he has engaged in devotional service, he has sacrificed his eyes. Then the Lord want to reciprocate. The Lord came to him And because the Lord came to him, the Lord started taking him around. He doesn't know when he started playing around with him. It's a gradual process. But the beginning is that you have to start with all reverence. And for you, it's not enough that, okay, I just have to relate with the Lord. No. Do you know what we are talking about? The creator of everything. That is why we are hearing about all this, to be able to understand the person you want to relate with. Just like now, just by hearing about the greatness of the president of America, United States. When you come in front of him, you feel like peeing into your pants, because it's like, this guy is the president of America. But you have to you have to summon courage. You understand? But the more you go to him again and again, or he comes to you again and again, the more you people come together, you talk, then you don't know when the spontaneous relationship will start. It's just like when a boy meet a girl in the first time, they are very respectful to each other, like that. Then as time goes on, they start relating. Before you know, everything just flow. So, but we cannot jump. It's a process. And the process is hearing about Krishna. When the more we hear about him, we can appreciate his greatness, we develop pure love for him. When he starts reciprocating with us, that spontaneous will be natural.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I understand now. It's a step-by-step process, So, at first you have to know who you want to serve, and then, dedicate more time in serving him, and from there the love comes.
He will reciprocate. When the Lord reciprocates, that is when the spontaneous service can start.
Yes.
He has to reciprocate first. Yes. When the connection, you may be trying to connect. You are trying to connect. You don't know whether the connection is reaching with the place it's supposed to reach. You are trying to connect. You understand? Yes. So, but when the connection is here, bam, the Lord recognizes you. Finish.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Then on that platform, he revealed to you how he wants to relate with you. Everything becomes spontaneous. You will now know whether you should be chasing the Lord around, or whether you are the girlfriend, or whether you are a servant. Everything is a gradual process.
Okay. And
that is why Chaitanya Prabhu is considered to be the Lord of Kali Yoga. It is mentioned in Navadvip Mahatmya that when you serve Chaitanya Prabhu with all our reverence, then when you become so pure, then the spontaneous devotional service will begin. Because why? Chaitanya Prabhu himself is Krishna who has taken the form of Srimati Radharani to understand Krishna. So when you dedicate your time serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Sankirtan movement, when you become so pure, what was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing towards the end of his life? He was relishing hearing about Radha Krishna pastimes. So that is the internal mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But for you to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have to be dasya. Then when you become pure on that dasya mood, boom, you come to the spontaneous devotional service. Then you can understand on which level you can serve the Lord. Just like we have the Rupa, all the Goswamis and all of them, they have different relationship with the Lord, but they are all servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is it. So it's a gradual process. If we jump, we will miss a point. And once we miss that point will always be missing unless we get the divine blessing. Just like a child who wants to run, he has to stand up first. Stand up, try to balance. When he's learn how to balance properly, then he can walk gradually. Then after some time, he start running here and there. So spiritual life is like that also. We have to understand what is the process of devotional service. Once we understand it, it's easier for us to apply it into our life. And when we start applying it into our life, things come naturally. I was listening to one preacher today. He was saying, unless you understand God, you continue to ask for daily bread from him. You don't know. Daily bread is going to give you naturally. It's not what you're supposed to be asking from him. He will give you whether you ask for it. You just need to work a little bit hard. You get your daily bread. What you should be asking for him is to give you his personal service, which everybody is not getting in this world. Prabhupada, he was in Mayapur. He was staying in the hut. He know who Krishna is. He said, we want to build a very planetarium here, very gigantic building. Because he knows that Krishna can give the whole universe. What is a small gigantic building, which they have almost finished building now? God can give you the whole universe. But do you know who God is? Unless you know your friend, you don't know what to ask from him. So we should ask for the opportunity to serve Krishna, because we cannot ask now because we don't know who Krishna, we have not understood who Krishna is. And that is why we have to continue to hear every day, every day. When we really understand who Krishna is, it's easier for us to want to connect with him. Just like everybody wants to connect with a very famous person. So unless we understand who Krishna is, we have to be hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day, chanting the only name of Krishna every day. We become purified of all these three modes that is preventing us to understand who Krishna is truly is. Because Krishna is covered by his, we're covered by the the energy of Krishna. So we cannot understand. So, but the only way to break through energy, this energy, is to hear about Krishna every day, chant about him every day. It's every day. We must not stop. Every day of our life, we must chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Every day of our life, we must chant. We must chant. Every day we must hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Because why? We are in the darkest region of the universe. And we need light to survive. So the light in Srimad Bhagavatam is the chanting of the holy name. So every day we have to do this without no fail. These are the things that will show the Lord that we want to get out of here. If sometimes we feel, I don't want to chant today, then you are not serious. You don't know what is in front of you. Oh, I don't feel like chanting today. Oh, no. Oh, you are struggling to chant your 16 rounds. Oh, it means that you have not realized who Krishna is. One who have truly realized who Krishna is, nothing will be the obstacle for him to connect with him every day. That is what we are saying. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you for your question. And Kavikarnapura, will thank you for the answer, quite an elaborate answer. Anyone else with anything to share? Prabhu, I have one last question for you today.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
So Prabhupada, of course, the scriptures, but I mentioned Sri Prabhupada because whatever that we know is as a result of the mercy of Sri Prabhupada. That there are four basic miseries and defects in this material world: birth, death, old age, disease.
Yes, Prabhu.
Now, is it possible that someone will be born and will not grow old, or will not grow sick, or will not die? As far as possible, as much as we know, whoever is born dies. Krishna himself says that in the Gita, right?
Yeah.
So my assumption is that whoever is born will at some point in his life also fall sick. But Srila Prabhupada says something very beautiful in the purport. I want to put it up here so we see.
Please go ahead, Prabhu. Which verse?
Oh, the very text we are discussing.
Okay.
2:5, 26, 29.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, so see, Srila Prabhupada says here, this is
Yes.
after the Bhagavad Gita 10:8
Yes, Prabhu.
quotation. It says diseases of the body take place due to derangement of air within the earthly body of the living beings. Mental diseases result from special derangement of the air within the body. And as such, yogic exercise is especially beneficial to keep the air in order so that diseases of the body become almost nil by such exercises. So if by manipulating the airs in our body,
Yes.
we can be free from diseases,
Yes.
and it means that it is not a misery. It's only a misery when one does not know how to manipulate these exercises. Is that what it means?
No, Prabhu. What Prabhupada is trying to tell us here is that this material body we are having is there is a scientific process of keeping it fit, and that one of that scientific process of keeping it fit is this yogi exercises, what we call hatha yoga, doing the bodily exercise. You know, because we see also we have seen and we have realized that people, they live short life more in this modern day because we sit a lot. We sit a lot in the car, in the house, in the office. We just sit and continue to sit. And this is considered, is a block at the movement of the head to some extent. And that is why you see when you are doing these yoga exercises, the other yoga, they tell you breathe out, breathe in, is to make the air to circulate throughout all your systems. And when the air starts to circulate through all your systems, it carries blood throughout all your systems. And because it carries blood throughout all your systems, your body continue to detoxify your system naturally. And in that way, unnecessary diseases will not develop in the body. But when we don't exercise the body enough, like we see our forefathers, our fathers who are going to farm, they're always going to farm, moving, walking distance to farm. And that is why you see today now, the doctors are even begging, please walk 30 days, 30 minutes a day, please. They are begging us because we love sitting so much. So there's no movement of the blood. The blood doesn't circulate enough to the body. The hair doesn't circulate enough in the body. Just like when you have a house, and there is a blockage in your plumbing system. What happens? All the dirt will continue to accumulate in that place. We continue to accumulate that, and before you know, that blockage will lead to another blockage somewhere, and that blockage will lead to another problem somewhere, and before you know, the whole house become start giving so much problem. So the same thing, what Prabhupada is saying is that the hatha yoga system of exercising the body, doing different kind of yoga exercise, is a way of making the body, exercising the body to make the air in the body flow in the proper direction to the different part of our body in a way that it will re-energizes our body. It re-energizes our body and make our body fit. And in that way, you can live longer than the duration of normally the time we are supposed to live. And because we don't do this, sorry, because we don't do all these things, we create all kind of, diseases in the body, cancer, because of what we are eating. And before you know it, then we have all the, what they call terminal cancer and all those things. We have what we call a prostrate and all those things, because we don't do all these exercises. So Prabhupada is just trying to encourage us that we should do exercise, bodily exercise, yoga exercise, if you really want to serve Krishna longer. We are pure devotees. We don't need, if you leave our body, you go back to the spiritual world. So you may not be so much attached to your body. But for those who want to remain here for longer time, to be able to achieve some service to Krishna, they want to remain in the body. Because only when you have the body, you can serve Krishna. So what Prabhupada is trying to explain there is that living long or living short, it depends on how we make use of our body and based on your karma also. So, but at least we should not use our own hand to shorten our own lifespan because of bad habits.
Hare Krishna. Shrikant, thank you.
Like Prabhupada also mentioned in that purport was about not proper movement of air in the head can cause mental illness. Yes, sometimes people don't sleep properly. They stay awake till 12 midnight, 1 midnight. Then you start feeling the heat in your hair. You say you can feel it that the hair is supposed to sleep. You start feeling the heat in your hair. Sometimes they start having a headache because there's a blockage somewhere. So the hair is accumulating in that side. So it's causing a headache. Headache means that the air has accumulated in that part is not flowing properly. Then you'll be hearing, the place will be pumping. Then you're having a headache. There's so much air there. But if you are sleeping when you are supposed to sleep, which is 9 to 10 o'clock at night, the body will naturally detoxify itself. And in that way, you can be healthy. Sleep has a very important role in making us to be healthy. And sleeping at the right time is very, very important. If we don't sleep at the right time, we will not be healthy. And the best time for us to sleep is from 9, maximum 10 o'clock. And wake up around 2 or 3. If you sleep by 9, naturally your body will wake up by 2 or 3. It's natural because that time the body has felt fully rejuvenated. You will just see you open your eyes because the body is feeling, wow, now I'm okay. But if you sleep by 1 o'clock, you will sleep till 9 o'clock. You are still feeling tired. Because there is no, that period is not one day. That is not when the nature has provided for the body to rejuvenate itself. We read this also from His Holiness Bhajitata Swami Maharaj books. And that is why a devotee, and it is mentioned, early to bed, early to rise, make a man healthy, strong, and wise. How did they put it? So it's like that. So, but in this modern age, people naturally now are shortening their own lives by bad habits. We sleep late, we eat late, we eat anything we can see. No proper regulation. I remember when I was living with my grandpa in the village, my mommy's father. Once it's 5 o'clock, after finish eating, 5 o'clock, nothing will enter his mouth again. 8 o'clock, he's already sleeping. Because he has gone to farm since morning and come back around that time, he will eat. Before you know, he go to bed. Then he wake up early morning, he go to the church that is very close to the house. Then he come back to the house, he goes to the church. Then he go to the farm. This is how I saw him. And he lived for almost 105 years. He was so regulated like this. Every day eating the same time, every day eating the same time, doing the same thing, going to farm, come back, go to church in the morning, go to farm, come back. very regulated. So one of the things that is shortening people's lifetime in this modern day is unregulated lifestyle. Unregulated lifestyle is shortening our lives drastically. People eat whenever they feel like eating. They sleep, they don't sleep. They stay till late in the night. They don't sleep for many, many years. And before you know, they start having some mental issue, anger issue, anything, you become angry because your body is not getting the enough rejuvenation it needs. And you have many people like that in the society. They become psychopaths. So we have to be very careful. And that's why you see when Balade Prabhu came. So as I was traveling with him in the morning, I was with him. Then he said, "Hey, Prabhu, come. Let's do some yoga exercise." Radhanath Swami Maharaj has introduced it to the brahmachari in Radha Gopinath. Every morning, they bring a yoga teacher. We teach them exercise. They will do some stretching. You have to stretch your body. It's very important for us to stretch your body, because when you stretch your body, the blood will flow properly through the veins. The veins are like plumbing in our body. If any vein blocks, you start creating problem in that area. So when you do all these yoga exercises, you make your body flow properly in your body. And as the body is flowing, the blood is flowing properly, the hair is flowing properly. Naturally, the body itself detoxifies itself. But when you don't do all these exercises and you eat, before you know, you start having diabetes. Diabetes will come. All kinds of diseases will come. So that's what Prabhupada is advising us. It's advising those who want to stay. Like now, we can see His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He's still with us. Why? Because Krishna's mercy. Materially, somebody like him who have changed all the organs in his body, but you can see that it's Krishna who is keeping him with us. So devotees, and also Maharaj, that time, Maharaj used to travel a lot. He doesn't stay in one place more than 3 days. Moving. So all these things, they have a way of bouncing back on the body, but because we are devotees, we are beyond the bodies. Still, they will not stop the body from the service mode or service to Krishna. But at the same time, as a devotee, we have to be very conscious that if we really want to utilize the body for longer time to serve Krishna, you have to be able to keep it strong. Like my Guru Maharaj, you cannot see him without carrying his headstand belt. Anywhere you see him, when he's coming, you see him headstand belt. There's one asana they call Sarvaga asana. Sarvaga asana is you stand on your head for some minutes, so that there's what we call reverse movement. When there's that reverse movement of the blood, it allows the veins to open. Some blockage of veins can opens in some way to start bringing new system in your flow system. So that is why it's called this Sarvaga. Is the king of all asana, because the reverse is like a reverse system. So Guru Maharaj always does that. So it's very wonderful that we learn some of this. There's another one we call Surya Namaskar. It's all about stretching. You stretch your body, you stretch. Surya Namaskar, paying obeisances to the sun. So this simple. And there's one devotee I know in Lagos. He's a very nice devotee. Always read Ramayana every morning. And he will perform his breathing exercise. When you do this breathing exercise, it helps to it makes the body to go into your blood system, your heart, everywhere. All these things for us to because the movement of the hair is what makes us to stay stronger. That's like Prabhupada is saying in the purport. So if the hair there's some blockage somewhere, then there was going to be cancer there, or disease or something, something. Like that.
All right, thank you. It seems His Grace Sadeka has his hand up. Prabhuji, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Sriman Kavi.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
My obeisances to your divine transcendental message. Thank you for your class.
All glory to you, Prabhu.
I want you to clear my doubts, my ignorance. Your class has put a shadow of ignorance covering my intelligence.
Prabhu, let me take my
that,
Prabhu, let me take my diplomatic tea. I will get back to you.
It is said that our present body is gotten after based on our activities in our previous activities.
Yes, Prabhu.
And our next body will be determined by our activities in this body.
Yes, Prabhu.
Also, there is a saying that by his effort, the living entities cannot increase by 1 second the duration of life that is allotted to him in this body.
You are right, Prabhu.
Neither can it decrease it by 1 second.
You are right, Prabhu. Absolutely right.
Okay, so how then do we reconcile this with the explanation you've been given? By exercise, we can increase our life. This is not to diminish the fact of the importance of exercise, but I wanted to philosophically clear my doubts. Because
Yes.
if exercises can increase our lifestyle, then that
Yes.
means that previous assertions and statements becomes invalid or false. So please clarify my doubts.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. You know, as we are asking this question, I was just laughing because we have a medical practitioner here with us. It's Grace Ade, Prabhu. So you understand what the importance of exercise in the body. Yes. So the thing that is there is that, yes, it's true. If your car is, when you buy it from the car brand chassis, brand new chassis, they will put expiring date there. Bam. This car is going to spend 10 years. Very good. You carry, enter it, buy a brand new car, boo, 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 boo. And you forget to put oil and water, just be driving, boo, boo, boo. It's okay. After maybe 5 years, and you don't remember to put oil and car, there's nobody who will tell you. One day we'll just park you on the roadside. You say, what is wrong with this car? Because the duration of 10 years, why is it stopping me here? Then you go and check. The smoke will just greet you from your bonnet. Ooh. You didn't put water in the morning. This morning you came out, you are not putting water. And that is why this car has parked you on the roadside. The body is a machine. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Yatra Mudrudani Mayaya. This body is a machine. It's a machine. And only those who know how to use the machine properly can enjoy it for a long time. Even though the machine has its expiring date, yes, it's good, but you can limit the expiring date by not properly following the manual that is given to that machine. It's very, very important. That is why every machine has its own manual. Do this, don't do this, don't do this, so that you can enjoy the duration of the lifespan that has been given to that machine. It's just like your phone. It has its expiring date. But if you just continue down to road without charging it properly, you're just using anyhow you like, you are going to limit you are going to kill the phone. At a particular time, if you don't plug it to light and speak from there, you will not be able to use the battery again. You will damage the battery. So similarly, our body is a machine that has been given us to us by material nature, according to our previous karma, just like what you said, rightly, Prabhu. But if you continue to mismanage and misuse the machine that has been given us by material nature, we are going to terminate the expiring date earlier than what is given. So yes, everybody have a time to live in this body, but still, that is why we have suicide also. People who terminate their body before their time. So some people also subconsciously, by their bad habits, you can terminate your body before the time. So that is what I would like to say regarding that. So I don't know, maybe other devotees have something to add to it.
Hare Krishna, Kavikarnapura.
Yes,
I want to add something to it, but not adding to what you're saying, adding to what Salika Prabhu was asking.
Okay, Prabhu, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
because the answer you gave, which is very interesting, but it doesn't seem to me to fit exactly the question Sadeka Prabhu asked, because it's like part of the question has been addressed, part has not been addressed, in the sense that the example you gave about automobile, like maybe you buy a car, the manufacturer tells you that this car has 20-year life. It's going to be good for 20 years. Even though the manufacturer says 20 years, it can be shorter than that, based like examples you were giving. If you fail to put in fluids, if you fail to put in oil, then it can break down earlier than the 20 years. Sometimes they say 20 years, but you can also use it for about 30, 40 years.
You are right, Prabhu.
Yes,
I forgot to add that.
yes, but what Salika said, which I find it very interesting and seems to be like the key there, is that the manufacturer here is not saying that if the life expectancy of the vehicle is 20 years, there is no way you can break it before 20 years. There is no way you can use it after 20 years. The manufacturer never says that. But here, Krishna is saying that you cannot add even a second to what has been apportioned to you. You cannot take away a second to what has been apportioned to you. That is where maybe if you want to share something on it.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for emphasizing that aspect of the question.
Okay.
And that is why we are saying that, just like Prabhu Salika also say, according to our karma, there are some karma we perform, even though this so duration of lifespan has been given to you. In that life, there's some karma actions you are performing. It's either reducing your life or we elongate it more. For example, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, one who offend elders, parents, guru, the person will the lifespan of that person will be shortened automatically. No matter whatever, we live for 100 years, whatever. But it's here, the scripture is saying, this person, by going against this principle of life, it will automatically, the lifespan will be automatically shortened. Then there's some principle mentioned in the scripture that if somebody perform this, you do this, you did this, oh, this person will have a longer life. So all this principle has been given in the scripture. Even though, yes, it is mentioned in the scripture that everybody have 100 years to live in Kali Yoga. That is how much we see some people who are living more than 100 years. And some people who are living their body 40 years because of the activity they perform. Let's say, for example, somebody has been destined to die at the age of 60 years. And this person becomes very God conscious, and God wants him to stay longer. There's nobody can stop him. Or God wants him even earlier. Nobody can stop God. So what we are saying here now, in this factory of God, where God is the one who decides how long people will live based on their karma or activity, we also can also add to how we shorten or elongate our life depending on the activity we perform. So that is the best way I can explain this. If you are not satisfied, we have many senior Vaishnavas on the platform. I think they can add to it.
Well, there is a question in the chat room from iPhone.
Okay.
I'm surprised iPhone is a name of a human being. Mr. or Mrs. iPhone, thank you for your question. It says, thank you so much, Prabhu, for a very wonderful teaching. So I have one question, Prabhu. In this modern age of Kali Yuga and everything happening and all the distractions here and there, how do we combine the struggles in this material world along with meditating on Krishna? There is so much distractions here and there. How do we, in the midst of all these distractions, continue to meditate on Krishna peacefully?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much,
Question.
iPhone Prabhu or iPhone Mataji. Please, iPhone, can we know who you are, please? If you feel like you want us to know you, just say something. If not, I can continue.
Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, it's a Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, it's my wife. Oh.
Okay, so that's you should know your wife's name, brother.
Yeah, that's my wife. No, I know her voice.
Okay, so that's her second name.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and try to answer her beautiful question.
Yes, please, darling, you go to, you can open Bhagavad Gita, chapter 87. Krishna very nicely explained there. He said, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activity dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. This verse, I always keep it very close to my heart because this is where Krishna hit the nail on the head to Arjuna. He said, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, at the same time carry out your prescribed duty. And Prabhupada very nicely, give a very short purport, but very direct also in the purport. And Prabhupada said, this instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men and women engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and gain the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. So here Prabhupada is telling us, while we are performing our ordinary material activities, just always remembering Krishna's name in your mind. Sometimes you just say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Just chant. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare. Chant the name of Krishna. Just chant, chant. Sometimes remember him, chant and think. And whatever you are doing, you do it. Then whenever you try to remember him, you chant the name of Krishna. So this is a principle that Prabhupada has given us, Krishna has given us. So we should try our best whenever we are performing our duties, whether we are in the market, we are going to the office, and wherever we are going, we should always try to remember these only names of Krishna. It's very easy. Nobody will know what you are even thinking in your mind. It's only between you and Krishna. Just chant Krishna's name every time, trying to remember him. This is what will make Krishna to recognize you. That this is my dear servant, always trying to remember my holy names. So that is what Prabhupada is telling us, that is what Krishna is telling us, so we can follow this instruction. Just remember Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Chanting it in your mind. Nobody will hear you. Nobody will know what you are doing. But you are remembering Krishna, which is very powerful. Very, very powerful. Just to remember Krishna's name. So that's Prabhupada's advice. That's how I will answer the question. Hare Krishna Mataji. I don't know if for asking that question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So there is this saying that how did they say? I've forgotten it, that poverty, money is the root of all evil.
Yes.
So I was now wondering, what is the root of when somebody is poor? When somebody is poor, since money is the root of all evil, when somebody is poor, what is the cause of that?
What is the root of poverty?
What is the root of? Thank you, Prof.
Yes.
What is the root of poverty?
Yes.
To poverty. So I was just
today-
trying to relate. I was just trying to relate it with you know, with everything in this how the material world is going, you know, everything keeps going down every day. So I was just trying to relate how possible that, okay, yeah, we know chant is very easy when we say chant, try to focus and all that. But when it comes to actual reality, you find out that you're chanting, you keep struggling with your mind because the head is like full with so many distractions and all the rest of them. That was why I was asking, how do you, you know, combine this thing? What stage do you get that you combine these thoughts that they don't, you know, actually play in when you are trying to concentrate and focus on chanting the Maha Mantra?
Yeah, that's a very nice question. Like what you say, like one thing you said, like money is the root cause of us evil. I want you to change that understanding. Money is not the root cause of all evil. Ignorance is the root cause of all evil. If you don't know how to use money, that is when it will bring evil. Devotees know how to use money for
Prabhuji, before you continue, I don't think it's okay to tell her not to say that. She's just quoting from scriptures. That's what scripture says.
No, what I'm saying is that lack of knowledge, ignorance is the root cause of evil. When you are in knowledge of Krishna, you will know how to use Krishna's energy for Krishna pleasure. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yes, because Prabhupada was saying in one lecture that the impersonalists were saying, oh, money, no. Prabhupada said, bring, we use it for Krishna. So devotees know how to use money for Krishna. So that's what I'm trying to say, that we should say that lack of knowledge of how to use money is the root cause of evil. And the cause of poverty is sin. Sin is the root cause of poverty. So you may ask me also that there are so many people who are very rich and they are committing so many all sins every day. They are not getting poorer. No, they are getting the reward. There's a message here.
Love of money is the root cause
of love of money. That is the root cause of yes. The love of money, yes, it's true. So we should love God, not money. So that I understand, Prabhu. Thank you. So like I was trying to say, so when we commit sin now, although we may have so many money, you are flashing here, enjoying, you think you are enjoying, and you're committing all kind of sin, all kind of atrocity. In your next birth, you become poor and you pay for that. So sin is the cause of poverty. Whilst pious activity is the cause of richness. And that is why you see, no matter whatever the Indians are doing, because they have this knowledge of pious activities make them rich. They always want to engage in one pious activity or the other. They want, even though if they are committing sin here and there, they want their pious activity to outweigh their sinful activity. You see, they are trying to be smart. So because they know that by engaging in pious activity, you become rich to some extent. So they no matter whatever sin they are committing, they are trying their best to make their pious activity to outweigh their sin. So that is knowledge. But when we give up sin completely, you will not have suffering, because sin is the cause of suffering. So like what we are saying, where you were talking about how everything is degrading. So how can we balance our life with Krishna consciousness and in this degrading world? It's very, like what we are saying, it's easier to say than done, like what we say. It's true. But devotee, Krishna is seeing our sincere effort. When we sit down to chant in the morning, you are a family man, you have so many responsibilities. Yes, naturally, those things want to come to your mind, but you have to be fighting with them. Or you're a family woman, you have to be fighting with them. Krishna, please, I know that I'm going to do all this thing. Can you please just let me concentrate on you for now, please? Let me concentrate on now. I'm going to think about all these things later. But let me just concentrate. Let me just think of your holy name now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Please, Krishna, let me concentrate on you beg the holy name, beg Krishna, pray, offer prayer. We in the prayerful mood, chant the holy name of Krishna. You will see that the mind will calm down, and it will be easier for you to concentrate on the holy name of Krishna. We have to always pray, be prayerful. When you wake up in the morning, like me, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is like, Krishna, thank you very much. Thank you very much for waking me up this morning. You have given me an opportunity to chant your holy name. Please, let me try my best to concentrate on your holy name today. Let me be better than yesterday. Like that. So because now you are knowing that the holy name of Krishna is the only duty you are going to do now. You are begging Krishna, you are offering prayer. Please let me be able to concentrate on your holy name. In that way, the Lord will help you. Surely, whenever we pray to the Lord, He answers our prayer. So we have to be prayerful. Then the Lord will come to our aid. Thank you for that wonderful question again, Arundhati.
Yeah, thank you so much, Arundhati. Now you've pronounced yourself as very wonderful questioner. So we would like to hear your question every now and then. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sri Hari Chakra Prabhu, please unmute. Hari Chakra Prabhu.
Yeah, Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept
Can
my
you hear me?
humble obedience, Hari Chakra Prabhu.
All glories to you, Kavi,
I'm
for
loyal,
your
Prabhu.
wonderful
Please.
class.
I'm loyal.
And all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
It's just a comment that I'm trying to give based on the question that Salika Prabhu asked and the elaboration that Sahadev Prabhu also added to it.
Yes, Prabhu.
About how we have all been given some specified number of years, and that the scripture says you cannot add to it, you cannot subtract from it. What I have heard, I have not made deep research about it, but what I have heard is that actually our lifespan on earth is not based on the number of years. It's based on the number of breaths. Every living entity has been given a specified number of breaths. That number of breaths, you cannot add to it, you cannot take from it. But that number of breaths can be calculated in an estimation. And in Kali Yoga, the number of breaths that we are allotted in Kali Yoga, when you take it, when you go by the regular process, it will take you about 100 years for you to finish that number of breaths. Now, when you perform yoga practices and all these exercises, the idea is you learn to control the number of breaths, how you use the number of breaths. So the way you use it will determine the number of years that the breath will take you through. And it is also explained that as humans, we are regularly not supposed to be even travel more than the speed of the horse speed, like travel more than the speed of the horse. So when we do that, when we travel more than the speed of the horse, it also, it decreases, it increases the speed with which we use the number of breaths that we are allotted. And eating habits, our promiscuous life habits, all determine how fast we use the number of breaths that we have. And so based on that, then that will determine how long you will live in terms of years. Because if you use your number of breaths, wisely, naturally, if you use it the normal way that you are supposed to use it, definitely you are going to hit your 100-year mark. But if you use it sparingly, you learn how to really put yourself in the regulative habits, then the number of breaths will take you past the average number of years that is supposed to take you. And those who misuse it, it gives them less number of years. This is what I have heard. But to be frank with you, I have not done very deep research about it. to see how it is. But what I've heard is that it's calculated in number of breaths. So everybody is allotted some number of breaths in our lifespan, and the way we use it will determine how many years that it will take us through. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Shri Chakra Prabhu. So at this point, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute. We'll bring this class to a formal closure.
Before you do the normal closure, let me say one thing.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much.
And also, Prabhu, we allow Dr. Jacob also to ask his own, so that just give him 2 minutes, so that will not be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu,
thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sadi, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Kavikarnapura, for that beautiful answer. Thank you very much, Adi Shakra Prabhu, for the contribution. And I appreciate Sriman Sadi for re-emphasizing my question. Actually, in the course of the lecture, Kavikarnapura has answered my question, but in the course of his explaining the aspect of exercise, he has reduced the potency of what he said earlier in this lecture. And I wanted him to re-emphasize the essence. That was why I asked that question. Now, what Adi Shakra Prabhu said is true, the number of breaths. But then, according to the study of the scriptures, we understand that even the ability to control our breath or to do a particular austerity or not do any austerity is only permitted by material nature under the guidance of Krishna. No one living entity can determine to do exercise or do any activities without the sanctioning of Krishna and the material nature carrying it out. So the point here now is that the fact remains that no one can add a second nor reduce a second in one's lifetime. It is just a gross example, like a person has committed a sin and is judged by the magistrate or the chief judge to be sentenced to death. The judge, even the judge cannot change that. Material nature cannot change that. The only thing that can change the fate of that man who has been condemned to hanging by death or to be killed is the president or the prime minister. So the point I'm trying to buttress here is that our material body, we have seen those who exercise very perfectly. In fact, sometimes some people are in the course of exercise and they slump and they die. So exercise in itself or regulation of life in itself is not what gives longevity of life or reduction of life. What gives is the mercy of the Lord. You mentioned it in your class when you mentioned a good example of His Holiness Japatek Maharaj. So the ability to increase or reduce one's life depends beyond the karma that the living entity brings into this material world on the mercy of the Lord. That is why it is said that the only word that the Jiva Atma has is this desire. So when one desires to serve Krishna, then every other thing comes under the influence of the control of Krishna. So Krishna can now influence him. Even his desire to do exercise to regulate his life becomes easy, possible by the mercy of the Lord. So that emphasis is what I wanted you to go to, that these regulations are good. It is to motivate us to desire them. But saying all of this is good, but the only thing it does for us is to desire to serve Krishna. Only when we desire to serve Krishna and Krishna find it worthy, then it gives us the ability to be able to do the exercise, to be able to take the austerity, to be able to take the sacrifices that we desire. Otherwise, even when we determine that I will not engage sex in this whole of this lifetime, under the influence of materialism, based on the body we have acquired, we will not be able to do it. So that emphasis is what I wanted to, that only by the mercy of the Lord, through bhakti, developed by the desire to serve the Lord, that brings about ability to be able to achieve this austerity or sacrifices or vows that we take. But those things are good. They are meant to encourage us, to titillate us, to make us desire for Krishna. That's what I wanted emphasizing. That's what I asked the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dr. Jacob, please, can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And the whole devotee, please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhu Kavi, I just wanted to add something to what he said about us putting Krishna in the center of all our activity, which is very important for a devotee. So what I wanted to add was that Krishna is the ocean of happiness, and any other thing apart from Krishna is not happiness. For example, a car is a car. A car is not happiness. A laptop is not happiness. A house is not happiness. The only thing that is happiness in this world is Krishna, because it's the ocean of Krishna. And how can we get that happiness? Is by serving Krishna. So when we engage in the service of Krishna, we'll get the happiness. So most of the distractions we are having, irrespective of Kali Yoga or the different yoga, it's just because of the impression in our mind. When we have the impression that when we have, the mind will tell us that when we have a car, we will be happy. But when you fructify that, within some time, the illusion will go away. So this has been going on in our life. So when we come in contact with a devotee, they will be able to put the seed of bhakti in us, and then we'll be able to control the mind and engage in our sadhana very nicely. Sorry, I'm rushing it, but I know we get the point. Haribo.
Thank you so much.
He's very, very studious. As you see him like that, he can read. He can read. I've not seen somebody who can read like him. One of our devotees, he will go and collect all the book in his house. He will read all. Yeah. He's very, very, very studious. He like reading. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jacob. So at this point in time, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute. We've been here for a little over 2 hours. This is the love of Srimad Bhagavatam in action. So, dear devotees, please, you may all unmute and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to the ever-smiling Kavikarnapura Prabhu. Jai! Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna.